Welcome to the 2023 NFL Draft and Review. Today we are going to be taking a look at the Dallas Cowboys class, and for me, this is one of those classes that's mostly it's just about a team that is trying to catch up. The Cowboys, I would firmly say, are probably the third or fourth wheel of the NFC right now, which is not a good thing because this is not a very strong conference at the moment. So they're kind of in a position of trying to get enough to squeak by teams that are better than them. And by this, I mean, of course, the Eagles and the 49ers. And at this point, honestly, maybe the Lions could give a run at that third spot, so we'll see. But it is about getting those couple little pieces to push through. So at the start, we get defensive tackle Mozzie Smith. And this is probably one of those picks that doesn't really show the full extent of what this player can do, at least by a stat line, because for an interior defensive lineman, I want to see this number going substantially higher, not a pass rusher. Seems to just really get involved in the tackling game, and that wouldn't really bother me if it wasn't this position. This is a position where you're supposed to be a little more involved, at least in, stopping the run. So we'll come over here and take a look and see if hopefully he's not one of those players that gets overdrafted.
And he's ambushed and taken down. Mozzie Smith says, "Not on my watch." The senior from Grand Rapids, that's a loss of 3.
Boy, Mozzie Smith just won immediately. He's right over the center at the nose tackle, and he just wins immediately, and then he finds himself in the backfield.
On 4th and long, 4th and 3. They rack up another sack. Mozzie Smith. Well, we showed you the video of the ease which he benches 335 pounds with. Tackling a 200-pound quarterback is no big deal for him. Play fake. Thorne over the middle. Incomplete. That one deflected by Mozzie Smith.
Talk about nimble. Here's Mozzie Smith. He's a defensive tackle, and he's going to sink back into coverage, and then he's going to get his eyes all over the quarterback, jump up, and bat that ball down. And
Shivers, and he's crunched as soon as he crosses the line of scrimmage. Mozzie Smith, 2-yard gain. First down to the 25 for the Buckeyes. Stroud rolls out, looks backside, has Travion Henderson, but Michigan ready for the play. Mozzie Smith in hot pursuit with Josh Ross. Nick Singleton, the explosive freshman in the backfield. They give it to him, and he's caught behind the line of scrimmage. Here's Spencer Petras, wants to throw it over the middle, and incomplete. Laporte the target.
This, to me, looks a bit like a player that's leaning just a little too much on their physicality to the detriment of the rest of their game. This is definitely a player I think that is going to need some coaching to really emerge at the NFL level, and I'm not really convinced he's going to get that. I say it a lot. Some people that watch this with any regularity might say, does this guy like any coaches in the NFL? But I think we can agree that the Cowboys coaching staff is kind of a hit or miss group. So I'm not sure if he'll get that coaching to really take the next step that he's going to need to be in the NFL. Because too many of these plays were just against teams that are not very good. I think I saw Colorado State in there, a bunch of the lower-end Big Ten teams. if you're only able to really make a play against a team that is at the bottom of the barrel, that suggests that you're not a star of a defense. It suggests that you're taking some benefit from the players that are. So I'm not sure about this guy. I don't really like this as a first rounder. I don't really think this is going to help the Cowboys immediately, which is something they do need. So that'll take us to their second selection, Mazi Smith's teammate from Michigan, tight end Luke Schoonmaker. And this one makes a lot of sense to me off the bat because obviously I believe Dalton Schultz went off to the Raiders, I believe it was. Now, the Cowboys don't really have to get an elite playmaker here because they're pretty well stacked up at wide receiver, so they've got a lot of options there. They can really pick and choose whether or not they want to really involve the tight end in the passing game, and much to sometimes my frustration, especially in fantasy football, Dalton Schultz and some other guys, they didn't really get too many particularly big games because of that fact. So Schoonmaker's kind of there as the add-on extra target. And come on, you got the Brandon Cooks, Michael Gallup, CD Lamb. I think there's one or two other guys in here that are probably somewhat valuable as extra pass-catching targets. Tony Pollard can catch the ball out of the backfield. So there's a lot of options. You don't really need to run a tight end out of this offense. But we'll go over here and see why they elected to take Schoonmaker in the second round.
Play fake. McCarthy off his back foot to the sideline. Schoonmaker looking. Underneath, caught Schoonmaker. And a first. Here's McCarthy to throw it to the sideline. Schoonmaker turns it up. Nice run with J.J. McCarthy. And McCarthy rolls out, fires, touchdown Wolverines! Just like
now Schoonmaker is able to just get out into the corner of the end zone. He's wide open because of the...
McNamara to throw. That's to the tight end, touchdown! 322, wide stick. Been in Jim Harbaugh's playbook for a long time. That big body tight end, that's another nice thing to feature in the red zone.
23. Here comes a blitz. McCarthy, Wolverines pick it up, steps up in the pocket, delivers.
What the blitz pickup I was talking about on the play prior to the touchdown. Great block. Allows McNamara terrific catch right there. One-handed, tips it to himself.
Play action on the rollout. McCarthy fires one across his body on the move, wide open. Down it.
Okay, so I'm going to pause it a little more prematurely than most guys because I've seen a lot of tight ends like this. This is your Mike Gesicki, Hunter Henry sort of tight end. They're good, they can be very valuable for an offense, but it really depends how much you want to use a tight end. What kind of role you expect them to play, and I would expect this guy to fill in about where I said, and a nice extra target for Dak Prescott to throw to if he needs it. And honestly, I think the Cowboys could afford to encourage him to use that extra target a little more because I've seen quite a few games where the Cowboys teams just come prepared for their wide receivers, and the Cowboys can't do anything about it. They're very much the NFC's Chargers in that respect. So we'll see where that one goes. Next comes a linebacker, which they've listed as a middle linebacker, so I'm assuming that the Cowboys are either going to be running probably a 4-3 or some version of it, which means he's probably going to be back up to Leighton Vander Esch if everything goes the way I'm expecting. But obviously Vander Esch has had some problems with injuries and whatnot, so this could be a quality backup in case of something bad going on. And this is a good trend. He keeps doing more the more they let him play, more starting. reasonable utility in the passing game based on how many passes he was able to deflect despite being a linebacker. So yeah, that's about what I like to see. Man, 90 some odd tackles, good in the tackle for loss game. That suggests that he's actually attacking the run game when it is a run play, obviously, and being pretty effective at that. So we'll go over here and take a look.
The right snap, and that is a TFL. The Texas defense. Go right back to it. Brady, up the middle. Goal.
Looking to tie the game. Oh, they get him!
It's right through the left side A gap. The true freshman, Zach Frazier, doesn't adjust too late and be agile and athletic.
A lot. This will be the 75th play from scrimmage already. Smith trying to scramble, and Smith goes down. That's
good vision come in and cut
now
the
you got a
quarterback
tough
down
fourth down and long. He saw the pocket
catches in this game already, Tiffany, plus that punt return. First down, Red Raiders, and a nice tackle. Thompson got the
corner off again. Daniels in some trouble. Oh, he's going to have to take the sack here. If you remember, he was the bad guy. Jay Moore played the back home for you. Yeah, watch him flow and read and react like a computer. Man,
point lead at TCU, blew the lead because they couldn't possess the ball, couldn't run it. Sanders looking to check it down to Richardson, finally does, and Richardson pays for it. Oh. See if they put Sanders in a run-pass situation. High snap, Sanders in trouble, and he gets mauled by Overshown, thrown to the ground at the...
DeMarvion Overshown almost plays like a safety based on what I've seen here. I don't see that many linebackers, even middle linebackers, that are this quick anymore. Honestly, I don't really think I've seen that many that are this quick, period. So he's got very good instinct for attacking the ball when it's time, whether it be on a mistake, a run play. That one play there was almost like a read option. He took the running back who had the ball. That was the correct thing to do. This suggests that the Cowboys are kind of taking a direct shot at the Eagles here. I would watch games where the Cowboys are against a team that has a quarterback that is capable of scrambling around. I think in those games we might see Overshown a little bit more than what he may otherwise be on the field for. So this could be one of those specialist players of keep an eye on the mobile quarterback, let the rest of the defense do its job. So next up we have defensive end. Oh boy. Viliami Fehoko. Okay, I'm just going to put a last name because maybe? Yeah, San Jose State. Okay, I got the right guy. This guy puts up stats that I would almost expect from a very, very good defensive tackle. Look at the tackles for loss, 12.5 or better 3 years running, with 6 or more sacks all 3 of those years as well. But the one thing I will kind of detract from that is, I think that's the Mountain West Conference, San Jose State. This is obviously not a particularly major conference or program, so is it him or is he just against competition that can't hang? So we'll see.
Defense has been playing. Both there now.
Fife in trouble again, and he's brought down.
He's just having a hard time. It's a play-action fake, but the second he turns, he tries to step up, but Fehoko is right on top of him.
Fehoko forces the strip sack. He's got it. Inside Bulldog territory. Pressure from Fehoko.
Oh, I love the big
he just
man
goes
run.
right through Dante Ball and
into Fife, and versus the fumble.
How many people does it take to tackle him?
After knocking it in the air, Cade Hall helps him out a little bit, but wow, what a heads-up play.
San Jose State territory for the first time. Mims tries the outside, nowhere to go. Elijah Wood entry in total defense. Sherrod stuffed again. There's Fehoko.
As young defensive line guys do, but nobody blocks him there. He gets right by Jay. Maybe some wetlands.
Mims swallowed up at the
There's Samson Evans, and he's cut down by Fehoko. Junior Fehoko shooting in. Mountain won a bowl game a couple of years ago, but this is their first real, true bowl experience because of COVID a couple of years ago.
Just instead of north-south. He's normally a guy that is running downhill. See Fehoko controlling the block.
Get the goal. Ooh, that's a hard hit in the backfield. Evans, boy, just crunched by Fehoko. But look at Evans, able to get up to his feet in a physical game here in Boise today.
And watch.
Okay, so I see this as a potential another kind of shot at the Eagles, because obviously the Eagles do like to employ a short yardage running system in situations not too dissimilar to this play that I've paused it on. This, I would say, is the Cowboys attempting to get a player that they can plug in on those plays who will get penetration very quickly and stop the ball carrier from getting the required yardage. But like I said, I will say we'll see how he does in the NFL, because it is a lower conference, a lower program. You know, not quite FCS level. Obviously, they made bowl games and whatnot, but still does give me pause every now and again. So, we'll see. Next up, we have offensive tackle Asim Richards, and this is just your basic depth selection. There's no real need for this team in terms of a starting tackle, so obviously someone they're folding in as a backup for now. But surprisingly, I did actually find a video to watch on him, and this sometimes surprises me, because I can sometimes struggle to find someone to watch on offensive linemen going in the first round, and this guy went in the fifth. Damn. Kind of holding up two guys there. That might have been a holding penalty in the NFL. Shift in my seat a little bit. He seems fairly decent at controlling blocks, but I would like to see him show a little more precision and maybe a tiny bit more hustle, because you know, you can't drag your feet in the NFL and get into a block. You've got to get there, control that guy, and stop him from either clobbering the running back or the quarterback. So, this I think is one of those roster stashers that maybe in, 3-4 years he moves on to another team, someone moves on from the Cowboys, and then he comes in and does reasonably well after those couple of years of sitting, watching, getting coached up, getting more prepared for the NFL level. But those guys can, though, also basically just end up bench riders their entire career that pretty much never hit the field. So it's one of those sort of 50-50 things of keep an eye on them over time, but don't be surprised if nothing really comes of it. So, next up we have cornerback Eric Scott. This is pretty much another sort of roster stuffer, I think, because the Cowboys' secondary isn't anything special, but they've got, enough guys that you don't really have to throw in let's see here, what was it again? A 6th round selection during his rookie season. Not saying he won't play, but probably not very much considering it's this team. So off the bat, I'm noticing that not really getting his hands on the ball a whole lot going either way here, but not a lot of tackles either, which suggests that either he's getting burned and just can't tackle the guy when he catches the ball, or the receiver he's put on isn't getting thrown to very much because he's not open. So, well, let's go ahead and move over here, take a bit of a look. Very blurry first play. Sorry about that. But
loading up, intercepted. Somebody make a play, because Eric Scott Jr. will high step.
Watch him here. Bennett's looking to the right. Eric Scott jumps it. There's a big-time play for Southern Miss's first turnover of the ball.
Pratt fires, tipped up and intercepted. Eric Scott dives to the pylon and in for the touchdown.
Went straight to his primary, and they had 3 guys hanging around him.
Does a good job when he gets it in his hands, that's for sure.
It's an easy pickoff for Scott, and almost as easy.
Trophy. Harris downfield, has Clark in space, and it's picked off. Eric Scott Jr. able to pluck it from the sky and takes it the other way. Season. Let's see if
they're
this
lucky
can
he got
light a
tripped
fire
on that,
under
because that was
Southern
going
Miss,
back if
as
he
they
kept
still
his
have
foot
a
in.
chance to strike first here at the Dome.
Down. Handoff. Nope, it's Cunningham. Throwing it up. Lobbing it for Marshall. It's intercepted.
Heavy pressure. Second down. Trotter steps on and is picked off inside the 15-yard line. Scott has it. Scott across the
last in Conference USA last year in turnover margin, so plays like this help. Trotter just got greedy. He felt
the new Swiffer Palm.
Okay, so that one I think kind of definitely focused more on the highlights than anything, but I would say that shows that this is probably maybe a player you should try and get the ball in the hands of, so I could maybe see this guy being a returner. But as far as actually playing defense, it's harder for me to say, really, because that doesn't really show very much. It just kind of showed off the interceptions, and pretty much all of them were underthrown balls that really he just had to go make the play. And it's good that he can make the play. That is one thing I'll give him. It is very good that you can make the play. That shows you can catch the ball, and if you can do that in the NFL, that makes you pretty damn valuable where I'm concerned. But I would say that this is a player that it's kind of going to be an uphill fight for him. So next we have running back Deuce Vaughn. And oh boy, some lag going on here. Okay, so obviously Ezekiel Elliott's out of the picture now. Tony Pollard's running back 1 in Dallas, but I wouldn't really say that they've got a established number 2 guy. As we come back over here, I haven't really seen much from Malik Davis, Rico Dowdle. These two are obviously rookies, and says that Hunter Lupke is a fullback. And then you have Ronald Jones. Ronald Jones can be very good, but I think that his moment has kind of come and gone. So Deuce Vaughn more or less has an open track to being the number 2 back to Tony Pollard. And that could be a pretty interesting role for him, depending on how things go, as well, he did do pretty good in college. He has a good bit of receiving ability, 18 touchdowns in 2021. So this is a player that can presumably make some plays. That could be interesting for the Cowboys to occasionally plug in when Tony Pollard needs a breather.
Phenomenal
all year.
Or in case of
Here's
injury.
Vaughn with some room past the 20, and Vaughn might be
Oh,
gone.
boy.
He's got incredible speed, outrunning Bama defenders. Inside the 20, Vaughn inside the 10, dives for the end zone.
At the line of scrimmage,
Might be the fastest running
Deuce
back
Vaughn
I've seen
does
out of
the
this
rest.
class so far.
finds a way to get in the end zone, outrunning that Alabama
But then
defense.
again, most of the top backs were drafted to NFC teams, so we've yet to see a lot of guys like Bijan Robinson. I love watching running backs like this. They got just enough shifty speed. They doesn't really seem to have the stamina to get all the way down the field. Unless he's, completely scot-free.
Martinez down the middle. Deuce Vaughn changing direction on a dime inside the 30 yards.
As a head man to North Dakota State, here's Deuce Vaughn. Nice move, touchdown case. And we got guys going nose to nose.
And a tip. They give it to him again. Trying to get the edge. Downfield, Warner able to provide some excellent
drive, just a stud. Deuce Vaughn on this carry. He was soaking. Take the jet sweep action. It's a low throw, and it's plucked.
Yeah, I definitely think that Vaughn's probably going to have a role to play in the Cowboys' offense. Any time that Pollard's not on the field, I would say Vaughn's probably going to be the guy that's on the field at running back for the Cowboys. So teams are going to have to account for this because he does seem to be very quick, very shifty. He can catch the ball. He sort of fits the mold of what is sort of becoming the more desired running back now. These guys like Saquon Barkley, Christian McCaffrey, Austin Eckler that can, they're fast, they can run, but they can catch the ball a lot too, and that's where a lot of their value comes in at times. So I'll bring it to the final selection of this class, wide receiver Jalen Brooks from South Carolina. And this one's just, I think the Cowboys basically just padding depth because obviously they've got a lot of wide receivers that they can use. They don't really need another one. And this is your typical 7th round wide receiver, 2 touchdowns in college, a 3rd in the running game. But overall, that's just not a very impressive stat line. That'd be kind of decent for maybe a number 3, number 2 guy in 1 year, but that's over 3, so I don't expect to see too much here.
Shotgun snap, protection good for Hill. Crossing route down the middle, diving catch for Jalen Brooks, and he's got it at the 15-yard line. Georgia rushing forward. Doty's got some time now, in trouble. Throwing across the middle, a bullet to Brooks. A great catch. Josh with a career night and catches and yardage. White in the backfield. Doty wants to throw it. Go down the near sideline. He's got Brooks, a one-handed catch. Oh, my goodness. Looks up at the left.
Well, I see why he got drafted now.
Second. Juju stays in the ball game to the left of Doty. Shotgun snap, 4-man rush. Picked up initially. Doty in the pocket, trying to step up, throwing late. Got a man across the middle. Call it Jalen Brooks. Brooks into Kentucky substitutes, Carolina substitutes. Doty going in a hurry, though. Fakes inside, looking left side, toss one, left corner, caught.
Yeah, this is just your usual 7th round wide receiver. I don't see much here. That just kind of goes to show that one play can get you drafted. Quarterbacks, one game can get you drafted way higher than you ever should be. Case in point, Josh Rosen. But yeah, I don't think we're really going to hear too much of this name, especially now with the Cowboys. So overall, I'm not too impressed with this class. Mozzie Smith, Schoonmaker, Overshawn, and maybe Fehoko could prove some value to this team. And Eric Scott could have some limited value in certain aspects of the game. Same with Vaughn. But I don't really see any superstar level players here. This is just kind of trying. Like I said, as I said at the beginning, it looks like the Cowboys are just trying to make up that little bit of difference so that they could potentially get through a team like the 49ers or the Eagles to get to a Super Bowl, maybe win it. But there is, I think, still enough of a gap that they're not going to do it. And that gap is aided by the fact that their head coach is still Mike McCarthy. I do not have a great amount of respect for that guy. He only got one Super Bowl out of Aaron Rodgers. So, for a grade, I would call this probably a full step, maybe step and a half under the Eagles. I gave them an A+, so I would say this is about maybe an A-. I would say this is about a C+ or B- class. It's just, you've got some interesting pieces here, but it's going to take a little bit for any of them to really come into focus. So for now, it's just really almost standing pat and hoping it goes better this time. And that, I don't really think, is the way to do things. So that is going to do it for the video today. Like the video, leave a comment, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell to see when I upload next. Follow me on Twitter if you like, and I will see you tomorrow for the New York Giants class.